here. So, surprise, guys, we're coming to you live from the Jericho Cruise.
Woo!
Yeah. No, we're not.
Oh, so far, Paystee, we've been in a mall in Las Vegas, the Disney Channel. We were over to the UK, and the Savage Sentinel now goes across the border down south, where Konnan got into an argument with Psychosis 2, real name Juan Ebodio Gonzalez, outside of this weekend's Impact tapings in Mexico City, where Psychosis 2 actually slapped Konnan in the face.
Slapped him.
Slapped him. Now, just to be clear, this is not Dionisio Torres, the Psychosis who wrestled in WCW and WWE.
Good, then I don't feel bad for him.
On his Keeping It 100 podcast, Konnan addressed the situation, saying, "Now I see he's with other guys, so I'm kind of looking around and thinking, bro, is this guy going to actually jump me here with these guys? Well, I'm kind of looking out of my peripheral." Big word, Konnan. "I'm trying to defuse the situation, and he slaps me," Konnan explained. "I'm thinking real quick for that split second, thinking, bro, if I hit him, I know I'm going to get jumped. I just know I am. I just feel it. If we'd have been one-on-one, I'd have punched the shit out of him."
I didn't know Konnan was Vince Russo.
I'm thinking in this moment, let me get out of here so I can get into the dressing room and I can get everyone out. That's his account of the story. On Wrestler Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer said that the issue between the two is because Gonzalez feels like the reason he's not getting booked in AAA is because of Konnan, and that won't change until Konnan leaves. Konnan is currently on the booking team for AAA. If you just look up Konnan Psychosis on YouTube, you'll see the video if you haven't already seen it on every Facebook page or news site. He does slap Konnan pretty good, stumbles him back a bit.
Yeah.
Kind of an interesting
like
turn of
really
events.
Didn't want to fight the guy. He might not even had any guys with him. You know, it could have just been him there and he'd been like, no.
Well, there are a bunch of people around. I don't speak fluent Spanish. I just know a few, Mexican words.
Yeah.
But, so I don't know what happened in the video. Konnan looks punked out. Obviously, if it's a bunch of people and just Konnan, I would kind of understand it. Of course, he tells the story like we all tell stories where we get slapped. Like, I would have done it. Would have if they wouldn't have had everybody. Come on, bro.
What are the odds you're in a big crowd of people or a crowd of people in general in Mexico and you're Konnan, you get slapped and you deck the guy back, the whole crowd's going to turn against you? I don't buy that, especially not for Psychosis 2, the one nobody's ever heard of before.
Psychosis, for the record, Psychosis 2 has a good name down in Mexico. He's a pretty big name. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it works. Somebody did get cell phone footage of it, so we get to see it, so it's legit. For those of you wondering, I'm 99% sure it's not a work, it's a shoot.
Good enough to have a sequel.
Oh!
He was in the Mexicools, right? With the lawnmower?
Oh! That was Vince, though. You can't blame him for that.
He went along with it. He took the money.
Oh. I love Psychosis. One of my favorites, right up there with La Parka.
Miles would agree with me.
Oh.
If you don't like it, get out of there.
Oh. Well, Vince McMahon has done some really stupid things and can be quite the classless asshole, Paystee.
Oh, yes, he can. And according to multiple eyewitness accounts, Vince McMahon and Pat Patterson made complete asses of themselves at Rocky Johnson's invite-only funeral.
No way.
Oh, yeah. The report goes, Vince got up to speak and said Rocky did only one good thing in life, and that was marry Atta and have some kids. And apparently, he then did his working strut off the platform and sat down, and that was it.
I just would love to fucking see that at a funeral.
For his chocolate titties.
And he had some titties on that chocolate body.
Then Pat Patterson was asked to speak and said some very nice things about working with Rocky in San Francisco. Then out of nowhere, Patterson goes into this rant and called Rocky Johnson, who was lying dead in the casket below him, a motherfucker, and started a vulgar rant about how worthless Rocky was, and a bunch of guys had to drag Patterson off the church platform and sit him down. Wow. Superstar Billy Graham said it was so disgustingly disrespectful it's beyond words. Patterson, who just turned 81, must be losing his mind literally. Only in pro wrestling, folks. Very sad to hear about this, and I actually feel a little bit over this bizarre behavior. Ill over this bizarre behavior. Jesus.
Not good.
No. Harry Smith gave a similar account, saying, I think Vince and Pat were both really strange, or they were drunk, or probably on that cocaine. Or they did a bit of both. Probably. Pat's microphone got cut off because he was talking so long at the funeral. Pat's final ending line was, last night I was drunk and I was drinking water, or what I thought was in the sink, and then the toilet seat fell on my head. Vince said, Rocky Johnson was a great wrestler, but the greatest thing I ever did was marry Atta Johnson, and Atta had some kids. Then Vince, walked out of the building. Vince strutted on and off stage like he was cutting a promo.
I love Pat Patterson's fucking line. I'm going to use that at the next funeral I go to. Last night I was drunk and I was drinking water or what I thought was in the sink, and then the toilet seat fell on my head. Where the fuck does that come from, Pat? I love, though, that both accounts specifically say Vince did his strut.
Yeah. I feel like a Trump double dog dared Vince or something here.
Right. I mean, we're sitting here and laughing because it's so truly outrageous that even Jem would fucking turn beet red in shame. But this is really just disgusting and classless. If it's legit, apparently there's multiple eyewitnesses that claim this to be true. There were no cameras, and it was invite only, and I hope more comes out of this in the future, either debunking it or giving us even more details. I want to hear what The Rock
has to say about it. Really? Like, what was his reaction there? He had to have been there.
Oh, yeah, he had to have been there. Just from the little bit that I know of Rock's character, just from seeing him in the public, I'd almost think that he wouldn't even mention this publicly, like in the media. I feel like The Rock has more class than that.
God, that just makes me feel like Rock would still suck Vince's dick over his dead father. Not that he should be sucking his dead father's dick. Don't think that's what I'm trying to say. Triple H, get out of here.
I mean, the story is hilarious, but it's also just because it's so shockingly crass.
And the thing is Vince just gonna walk away with it, and nothing's ever gonna come. This is the last you're ever gonna hear of it, folks.
I'm more of a fan of Pat on this one, though, to be honest. Like, Vince, I think it's cool that Vince did the strut, apparently both on and off. Like, I can see him shaking those arms, maybe even playing No Chance in Hell on his own little handheld fucking Bluetooth speaker.
His phone, just on his phone.
Yeah, right? But I just love Vince's Pat's monologue. I swear I want to use that one. In fact, I'm going to steal it and put it as a Facebook status and see what people think. Because it's good. But of course, as Rocky is sucking Vince's dick and he's coming, and Rocky's father is going to better or worse places, we're not sure. It brings us to the comings and goings in the Savage Sentinel this week, Paystee.
Yes.
And that brings me right in to the burning Ring of Honor, because PWInsider.com is reporting that Ring of Honor is working on bringing Adam Brooks in full-time. Brooks, who's 29 years of age, was originally trained by old Murph Dirt himself, Buddy Murphy, and has been a consistent main eventer for Australian promotions, including Melbourne City Wrestling and Pro Wrestling Australia. He has also wrestled for Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and Ring of Honor, and has already announced he will be in Tampa competing over the WrestleMania 36 weekend.
Woo! Another Australian star headed to Ring of Honor is Slex.
Slex!
That's a Slexy name. The Melbourne native has been a pro wrestler for more than half his life, even though he's just 33. Known as The Business, Slex is a 2-time Melbourne City Wrestling heavyweight champion, and he has also competed for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Can't say I've heard of him. Looking forward to seeing him in action. You got to be good with a name like that.
I haven't heard of either of these guys, but I'm already a big fan of Slex because there's this kid at work who, through a long story that makes no sense, we've now nicknamed him The Business. And it's been like that for months now, to the point that even our bosses, when they need him for something, they're like, hey Business, come here. So I like Slex because I'm just a fan of people named The Business. And I'd never known of anybody else named The Business. So
it's good.
It is good stuff. Other great things coming along here. According to Squared Circle Sirens, at least, Paystee, current Ring of Honor Tag Champion Jonathan Gresham will be replacing longtime Ring of Honor booker Bully Ray as the head of the Women of Honor division. Now, besides booking matches, he will assist in training at the ROH Dojo and oversee the recently announced Women of Honor Open Tryout, in which at least one participant will be given a developmental contract. I have mixed feelings of this. I think it's great to let Bully Ray focus completely on the Ring of Honor booking and keep him there so he can really. I think Bully Ray's great at what he does, and I think that's awesome.
And Marty Scurll's brains coming together.
It's squishy.
Ring of Honor's coming back, folks. It's about to happen. It's morphing before your eyes. Just take these words and sit on them. Stick them right up your butt, Morty.
I do wish that they had they have so many talented veteran females out there. I feel like, I hope they bring in a veteran female to at least co-head book.
Why not have Bully Ray's wife do it?
Old Velvy. I love Old Velvy.
Then you still have input from Bully Ray coming in on it, but he doesn't have to focus on it so much.
Well, Old Velvy has her own issues that we will discuss later on.
Ooh. I haven't talked about her in a while.
Yeah, but I like talking about her. I like looking at her. She's a good woman.
Yeah. Bully Ray, you lucky dog. Woo! Looking to hold on to a variety of talent in 2020, Ring of Honor has secured another star, according to PW Insider, that being Lifeblood member PJ Black, who has signed a new multi-year deal. In an interview with Wrestling Inc., Black discussed choosing Ring of Honor over NXT. I had an opportunity to go back to NXT. It was the same money for 200 shows more. So really it was a no-brainer for me. I have creative freedom and freedom outside because I do a lot of things outside wrestling that they let me do whenever. And with creative freedom in wrestling, just to be yourself is important. I like it. I also like to know that even though NXT is the third brand and no longer developmental, they're no better off than they were before. Actually worse off because they're working harder.
Right. You're making that same money, but more dates. Yeah. But it is good that it seems like 2020 Ring of Honor is trying to put some pieces in place. They have a strategy. Our first 4 notes right here, Paystee, are all Ring of Honor based, and that's good. That means they are focused on doing something this year.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. They definitely need to come back after the last 365 days.
And not only has Ring of Honor been working to get themselves out there and reboot their product, Alex Shelley's 2020 just keeps expanding, Paystee.
All right.
Joey Janela revealed on Twitter that the tag team extraordinaire will be making his Game Changer Wrestling debut at the Spring Break 4 event down in Tampa, Florida during WrestleMania weekend. The former Motor City Machine Gun has made some pretty big waves in the wrestling world as he has made appearances for NXT, tagging with his Time Splitter sidekick Kushida during the Dusty Rhodes Classic in a losing effort against the grizzled young vets.
Yes. I did not get to see their tag match. I think I'm going to end up going back to watch that because
I haven't got to see any of the Dusty Classic. I'm kind of waiting to hear the highlights and maybe go and check
I think
that
it's funny
out.
they're still calling it the Dusty Rhodes Classic with all the Cody Rhodes stuff.
I think Vince, as long as he owns the names to anything Rhodes, he'll stick it to Cody by using it.
Probably.